The prosperity funds. I see the questions being asked of Saint Germain, and I see there are people who are waiting for the Saint Germain funds to come in and make their lives easier to afford. I understand that. At one point in my life I was in the situation of not being able to pay the rent and having to go to food banks to get enough food to eat. So I understand what it's like to be broke. I've been there, done that. I'm not anymore. So how come I'm not living like this anymore? While I was living on $800 per month for a couple years, I researched techniques and I wrote a book called How to Stretch Your Dollar Further, which right now is on at smashwords.com for the month of July for free. I figure with inflation on the rise, some of you could use a free book on money management. My method has never been to wait for someone to help me out. My method has always been to free myself from whatever constraints life has placed upon me. I'm a learner and I'm a fighter. Right now my neighbors are up shit's financial creek without a paddle. She works more than 40 hours a week, yet they still have to borrow to make it through to their next paycheck. They've stopped takeout and delivery dinners, all the Amazon packages have stopped, yet they're still running short. By the way, their problems started as soon as we went into lockdown 2 years ago. These two are willing to do the work and I commend them. What they did, and this is recommended in my strategy for gaining financial freedom, is they started to look at where they were overspending or where they could bring in more money without killing themselves working. It turns out by eliminating television from their service provider package they saved themselves $100 per month. They watch the internet all the time and he can pick up sports events there as well. They weren't using their TV but they were paying the service provider through a package deal. Watch out for those. They also have a telephone service they never use either. They don't own a home phone. I'll have to stay on them about that. If they're charging them $30 per month for a phone line they don't even use, then that's $360 per year they're wasting. Can you use $360? I sure can. I know some of these deal packages are set up so that the Wi-Fi price increases if you don't have a phone number, so that could be why they haven't ditched it. But that's the other thing, contact your service provider and say you're thinking of switching. What kind of better deal can they offer you to stay? It's a competitive market, so why should you overpay? I also had an idea about home phones. If one of you is around the house all the time, and you have internet and a laptop anyway, lose one of your cell phones. Cut that cost in half and only one partner owns the cell. I pay $30 per month for limited talk and text only, and frankly, I never even use the thing. I prefer talking face to face. My internet is $80 per month and I can't understand why you'd pay more for it. There are things being offered to my neighbors through his disability pension that could increase it, including payments for particular types of illness. I get the compensation for being gluten and dairy intolerant in the same fashion as he is now researching. One thing I tell people to do is to look through their charge card bills to see if there are payments being made that they didn't authorize. You know, when you order something that's being offered for free, like a WordPress blog for example, you get a year free but they still ask for your charge card number. By the time a year is up, you've forgotten that you gave them your charge card number. Well, they haven't. I had to reverse the payment on my charge card because I'd already cancelled my blog. Now I make note in my daytimer of everything I buy on a recurring payment and note what it is and how much it costs. And that's a good tip. Having some place to write notes of this sort is a good idea. Even if you go to the dollar store and buy a coil-bound notebook for $2, just making notes of this sort helps you become more conscious of your own spending. What I was doing for Implant Communications was writing a newsletter through MailChimp. They give me the stats on these newsletters and many people weren't even reading it, so I decided it wasn't worth what I was paying to continue. The money could be spent in better ways. I have the newsletter but it's up on my website, which I pay a smaller fee for, one that doesn't escalate with more viewers like MailChimp does with subscribers. Have you ever had great ideas that didn't really pan out? Or can you find cheaper ways to do virtually the same thing? Then do that instead of letting yourself waste money in fruitless pursuits. There could be all sorts of things you are paying for that you don't need, and there are all sorts of things you could be earning that you didn't think of. Watch the show, Till Death Do Us Part, where the money guru helps people begin to live within their means. I'll link it in below. I just started buying bottled water. Why? Because my tap water has a strange yellowish tint to it and at times it stinks. The sink smells and I have to keep cleaning it with vinegar. I'm at the end of the St. Lawrence River and the St. Lawrence is a catch-all for water drainage all the way from the top of Lake Superior. I don't trust what's in there. So I started buying water when it was clear to me that the water wasn't. I figured out pretty quickly that buying water is expensive if you want to avoid chlorine and fluoride. I once bought 12 1-liter packs of alkalized water for $40 on Amazon. That's $3.39 a bottle plus shipping, which I pay $11 a month for. If water is the only thing I buy that month, then I'm spending $4.25 a bottle. I decided that was too much. I looked in the local flyers and found the same water on sale on weekends for $2.25 per bottle. I just bought about 10 and that should last me the week. I saved $2 per bottle. Start adding that up every week. Saving $20 each week because you didn't overspend adds up to more than $1,000 per year. I once had a boss who ran a coffee shop and I had this conversation with him as well. He didn't think it was a big deal until I started to prove to him that picking up sales after he left work at night could save him $20 to $30 per week. His attitude to saving $1.50 on a box of herbal tea was, so what? His attitude towards saving $3 on a 24-pack of toilet paper was, big deal. But when I pointed out that he continually buys these things, he started to see that his monthly profit margin would show a pleasant gain whenever he made the extra effort to save. He switched to my way of thinking and he's still in business. Like my old boss, when you start to look at things you buy habitually and then start to price out the monthly or annual savings, you'll see the benefit of purchasing on sale too. $20 saved every week is over $1,000 every year. Plus you're saving on the taxes as well. They offer you stuff on sale and the sales flyers are up on the internet and easy to find. So why not help yourself? When you start to see how much you can save on a regular basis, you might change your mind. I used to think that prices were set on the value of the goods. Much later I realized that prices are set according to many factors, like competition in the market, the overhead of the business selling it, and whether the business is an upscale or a discount store. You can buy the same item in another store at a completely different price. In another 4 months, with a loan that's being paid off and a garnished pension being paid off, my neighbors stand to increase their income by close to $1,000 a month. That's pretty amazing. The changes they're making won't even impact their lifestyle negatively. And that's another point, you're not trying to scrimp and go without, you're trying to find unnecessary expenditures or unnecessary under-earning and eliminate it without having to give up your creature comforts. I will continue to coach them as I am already not to start buying things like new computers on terms at home finance companies, for example. The best thing to do is to pay down your charge card and then use it to pay off your purchases on your own terms, not a contract that will lock you in for 3 years at a high interest rate. Or better yet, save up and pay cash. Which is another point, if you think you really absolutely must have something, wait 3 days. You might change your mind and realize that it's not that important after all. Or you might not, in which case buy it. But a lot of people spend impulsively. They see something that they feel would really change their lives, that new dress or pair of shoes, but in the end, does it really change your life? Really? No. It made you happy for a moment. So there's your big deal. What a letdown. Is this about becoming so tight that coins melt in your fingers? No, it's not. It's about saving on products you buy all the time, getting stuff you habitually use for less, but then allowing yourself that spa day because you can afford to have it without worrying about how you are going to pay for it. You can have that day at the amusement park with the kids because you can afford it and you don't have to worry about paying for it after you've enjoyed it. It's about being able to save money every time you earn it so that you can afford to save for emergencies. When you're overpaying and under-earning, believe me, you're having emergencies. The bank will charge you a nasty $45 NSF charge for every automatic payment you don't have the funds to honor. I once had my bank account frozen by the bank because I had mismanaged it so badly. With even $500 of savings, it's a buffer between you and those nasty NSF charges. Saving $500 is not that hard to save, especially if you start to look for ways you are overspending and under-earning without realizing it. This is another thing I have to go to the bank to change: service charges. My one account I have a deal, any number of charges for $16. The other one I don't have the same type of deal and I overpay on service charges every month. This week I'm going to change that. You think it's not such a big deal, but when you multiply the overpayment by 12 you'll see that on an annual basis I'm overpaying probably $240 per year. Why give the bank the money? Stop wasting it. If you overpay in service charges to the tune of $20 per month or $240 per year, overpay for bottled water to the tune of $48 per month or $576.00 per year, then you'll see that for me, just for these two items I could waste $816 per year. Just on these two items alone, never mind everything else: coffee, which goes on sale to the tune of a $5 per can savings, toilet paper which saves you $6 when it's on sale, never mind all the pills I take to keep myself running. I look for the best price on these as well. If you know you're going to use it, like me, and peanut butter, find the best price and stock up. That's another tip. Clear a space somewhere to stock up items and have your own storage at home. If you don't have this space available, then you're not likely to buy anything more than just weekly purchases. You need to have the space. Some of you can argue that by saving money on bottled water and bank charges, you're not really saving money, you're just spending less. Yes, you're right. You are spending less. But in spending less you're stopping yourself from going into debt, and that's the big nasty you want to avoid. I see you waiting for Saint Germain's funds, and I fear sometimes that you're being offered a solution that you're not ready to work with. If you're not good at managing money, then you're only going to misspend your Saint Germain funding as well. Some basic money management/home management skills are really lacking in our school systems today, I feel. We never learned money management, and my parents never taught me either. I had to learn for myself. It helps keep stress down. This is about beating the system to some extent, a system that's been created to beat you down. We know that they're trying to eliminate the middle class, and that means everyone like me who grew up in a middle class family is now low budget. All my siblings are in the same boat, worse off than my parents ever were. While you're waiting, pick up a free copy of my book and start to stop wasting your money. You'll thank yourself later. Sharon.